Hello, my name is Rachel Painter and I'm an extension agent with the University of Tennessee. Today we'll be talking about container gardening or designing a porch planter. So plants can actually improve our quality of life and can reduce our stress and tension. So that's something we could all probably use right now. So we're going to be talking about how you can design your own. Even if you don't have space or the ability to dig in this hard soil, you can use a container to garden in. You can grow vegetables, you can grow herbs, or you can just use some annual plants, perennials, just to add some color. A disadvantage of using a container is going to be that it will dry out much faster. So you're going to have to monitor the soil for how moist it is. And the best tool for that is actually your finger. So you can just stick it straight down into the soil and see if it's still moist. If it is dry, you probably need to go ahead and water, but make sure you're monitoring that daily. Containers are generally used just to add some color. So you can place them around your porch. You can use hanging baskets, anything that you like, just to add some color and just add whatever you want to in those containers themselves. You can follow a few simple guidelines though to make sure that they look pleasing to the eye and so that your guest will be really impressed with what you've put together. Whatever kind of container that you use, make sure that it does have a hole on the bottom. You want to make sure it does have the ability to drain. Otherwise, that soil will become completely waterlogged and your roots won't have any airspace for oxygen. For your soil, a general potting mix is good. If you can reuse the soil from last year if you didn't have any disease issues, but make sure you kind of break that up again if it's become compacted, and make sure you add some more if there's not enough in your pot. You want to make sure that it is pretty high in your pot because you want your plants to be overflowing and beautiful instead of hidden. Now we'll look at designing them. So you want to follow a few general rules of thumb. You want to consider the dimension, so the depth of that planting. You want to consider the shape. So here we have a circular pot. I want to make sure that I add some height. So that might be what you would call your thriller, something tall. You can even use something spiky, something that just adds a little bit of thrill to your pot. You want to add some filler. So here we've got some little white flowers, things like that, to just add some filler in there to make it look full. And then we want to add something that covers the side of the pot. It's going to spill out, so that's our spiller. So again, that's just a general rule of thumb: thriller, filler, spiller. When you're designing your colors, you want to think about your color scheme. So remember back to the color wheel, and colors opposite the color wheel complement each other. You can also use colors that are next to each other on the color wheel. So here we've just got some deeper burgundy reds, some brighter reds, and then white and green. Purple is actually really great with green as well. Here in our gardens, we've got a great planting with some green ornamental grasses and some purple salvia that comes up each year beside it. And everyone stops to see that because the colors just complement each other so well, and it's pleasing to the eye. So whenever you're thinking about your colors, don't just pick out random plants at the garden center. Try to think about how they will look when they're placed together. So once you get them here, you can go ahead and place them in your pot before you start planting. Okay, so you want to sit them around and decide how you want them to be placed. So I might even want this to spill out a little bit. And remember, you want to leave some room so that these plants can grow and mature and get larger and not be too crowded, but you do want it to look full. So we could probably even add 2 more of these if we wanted to, or something else here in the very front. But just remember, you want it to be pretty full but not overflowing right when you first plant it, because these will continue to grow and mature. I hope you've enjoyed our short video here today about designing your own porch planter or container garden. We do have some perennials in here mixed with some annuals, so don't feel confined to just using annuals each year. You can mix it up however you want to, and then you can put those perennials in the ground at the end of the summer season, and hopefully they'll make it to next year.